How y'all doing today? It's Friday morning outside here in San Antonio, Texas. Again at the park. It's a beautiful day. It's a bunch of vultures over here circling. There's something dead. I hope they're not coming after me. Anyway, we're continuing along in Proverbs, and today we're going to do the whole chapter 7. And Solomon again we get into this tough subject of adultery and adulterers. You know, when I was in high school, there was some teenagers, a rumor was going around, teenagers that were having sex with their teachers. And I'll never forget the one story, this one boy who, the teacher, a married woman, lived at a trailer park. And all the students knew about it, you know. Eventually she was caught and put out of school, but you know, you read about this all the time, you know, it's about teachers that are having sex with their students, and also about young guys getting involved with married women, and even young gals getting involved with married men. And Solomon here is going to warn once again. He's going to give us a story now. He's actually going to tell us what happens in the process. So I want you to pay very close attention to this story. It's something that teenagers need to read, and so that they can understand the process of what actually happens when you involve yourself in this sort of thing. In chapter 7, verses 1 to 5, Solomon once again is warning the son about the importance of wisdom. He says, "My son, keep my words and store up my commands within you. Keep my commands and you will live. Guard my teaching as the apple of your eye. Bind them on your fingers. Write them on the tablet of your heart. Say to wisdom, you are my sister. And call understanding your kinsman," you know, like a relative. "They will keep you from the adulteress, from the wayward wife, and her seductive words." Okay, so he gives an introduction here. Now, from verses 6 all the way to 26, it's broken down into a couple of different sections. First of all, we're going to see this young boy, or teenage boy, who's going to flirt with a wayward wife. Okay? We then see how she begins to seduce this naive boy. We then see that now that he has been flirted, now that he flirted and he was seduced by her, now he's engaging sex with her. And then towards the end, we see how he ends up dying. Okay, so here's the story. And this is the story of Solomon. Now, what Solomon's going to do to the book of Proverbs is going to introduce different scenarios to different mindsets of people. Either you're, right now watching this, either you're naive, which means you're simplistic in your thinking, you don't have a standard by which to make a choice. You're a fool, like a lot of those teenage boys in high school who put themselves in a parameter of a box and peer pressure, and they're led by the flesh and the world system and the devil. Or you're a scoffer, which means you could care less about anything, what anybody says, you're just going to do what you want. Or you're a wise person and you're not going to play around with this. You know, it's like playing with fire, you're going to get burnt. So right now we have a simplistic teenager crossing over to becoming a fool. So let's read what happens to him. And so the wise person is looking, and he's watching this young teenage lad. And he says, "At the window of my house, I look out through the lattice. I saw among the simple. I notice among the young men a youth who lacked judgment. He was going down the street near her corner, walking along in the direction of her house. At twilight, as the day was fading, as the dark of the night set in." He knew where this woman lived. He probably imagined it a lot in his mind. So he came up with a plan. I'm going to walk down there where she lives. It's getting dark. Nobody will see me. Maybe she might come out. You know? What's he doing? He's flirting with evil. Okay? And just by chance, let's see what happens. Oh, then out came a woman to meet him, dressed like a prostitute with crafty intent. In other words, a lot like modern day teenage girls dress today. Okay, but she had crafty intent. She was thinking about it too. She is loud and defiant. Her feet never stay at home, now in the streets, now in the square. At every corner she lurks. She's always looking for the possibility of engaging in sex with somebody. You know, I see some of these women that are talking, they're real loud and they do all that. And then what's the first picture that comes into my mind? Just kind of a woman, okay? She took hold of him and kissed him. And with a brazen face, she said, now listen to what she says. Okay, first he flirted with her. Now she's beginning to seduce him, but look how she does it. Real crafty. She says, I have peace offerings at home. Today I have fulfilled my vows. She's going to try to spiritualize her waywardness. She's going to make religious overtones to the fact to set the stage so that she can have sex with this young boy. She says, so after I did my religious duties, you know, and paid my vows, said my prayers, read my Bible, you know, I came out to meet you. And she says in verse 15, so I came out to meet you and I looked for you, and guess what? I found you. I have covered my bed with colored linens from Egypt. I have perfumed my bed with myrrh, alones, and cinnamon. Hey, I said my bedroom's looking really good. I got the water going in the tub. I got the candles all lit. I got the music playing. You know, come and let's drink of love till morning. Let's enjoy ourselves with love. You know, love is love. Isn't that what they're saying? The woke thing. It's not love, it's lust. My husband is not at home. He has gone on a long journey and he took his purse filled with money and will not be home till the full moon. No, he's not going to be gone till about a month. He says, and with persuasive words she led him astray. She seduced him with her smooth talk. He flirted with evil. He got seduced by evil, and now he's engaging in sex with this adulterous woman. Let's see if it pans out the way he thinks. He's looking and thinking about all the pleasure. Let's see if there's any pain involved. Okay, verse 22. All at once, he followed her. Look at the graphic description that Solomon uses now. Like an ox going to the slaughter, like a deer stepping into a noose, like an arrow that pierces his liver, like a bird darting into a snare, little knowing it will cost him his life. Young men, young girls, let me tell you something. You don't want to do this. Sex can be a beautiful thing between two people who God brings together in His way, in His timing. And even though the commercial and the advertisement and all your buddies are saying, you know, this is a cool thing to do, let me tell you something. There's a lot of pain that's involved. They don't show you all that. Unwanted pregnancies, sexually transmitted disease. Husband came home unexpectedly, blew your head off, and her. This stuff goes on every single day. Now, let me ask you a question at this point before I finish. Are you naive, which means you don't know the consequences? Are you a fool because you think you can get away with it? Or you're a scoffer because you don't think this is going to apply to you? Or you're wise and you're going to listen to this word and say, I'm going to listen and not do this. Father gives a different warning here. You have to answer the question to yourself, which are you? Okay? Then he says this, now then, my sons, listen to me. Pay attention to what I say. Do not let your heart, who you are, your soul, as a person, do not let your heart turn to her ways or stray into her paths. Stay far away from all that. Got stuff on your computer that is going to entice you to do that? Don't look at it, that stuff. Block it all out. Okay? Everybody else doing it? No, they're not. Okay? It says, many are the victims she has brought down. Her slain are mighty strong. A lot of young people had a lot of great potential. And they went and got involved in this. I've known many of them. And they're not the same people anymore, you know. And it's a sad, sad commentary. So now, if you have been caught up in this, you know, ask God to forgive you and just repent and say, I'm not going to do that no more. That's done. I'm finished with it. And God can be gracious to you, you know. Now, you may still carry a lot of emotional and scarful pain, but you can start a new life. You know, God did that with the woman at the well. He did it with the woman caught in adultery. What did he tell her? He didn't condemn her. He says, go and sin no more. Okay, that's grace. And so we got, you know, but we live in, you know, it's a double-edged sword here. You know, God can forgive you, but consequences still remain. You know, I can put a nail in a door and pound it in and think, oh, gee, I put it in the wrong part of the door, and I pull it out, but that hole is still there. You know, I can cover it up a little bit, but trust me, that hole is still there. God doesn't want that to happen to you. Okay, let me just share this. I did a live video yesterday. It's not on YouTube. I do them periodically. I mean, on Facebook. I do them periodically. I come on to answer questions. Yesterday I did one on homeschooling, public school, private school, military, everything you ever wanted to know about school. I had people ask questions and I gave answers. I'm going to do that again, maybe this weekend or early next week. So stay tuned for an alert for this. Okay, you all go and do the wise thing. God bless you all.